Okay, let's think about this for a second. Most of us spend our entire lives chasing money, right? We're earning it, saving it, investing it, stressing over it. Yet, almost nobody can answer a surprisingly simple question. What actually is money? We call it wealth, but money isn't wealth. We call it value, but the paper itself has almost none. Think about it. A 500 rupee note, a dollar bill, or just a number sitting in your bank account. They only work because billions of people collectively believe they work. But why? Well, the deeper you look, the stranger it gets. I mean, money can buy years of human labor, fund governments, build entire cities, start wars, shape civilizations, and yet it's ultimately built on something totally invisible, an idea, a promise. It's a system of trust so vast that modern society literally could not function without it. And once you understand what money really is, you are never going to look at a bank account, a salary, a loan, or a bond the exact same way again. Right off the bat, we've got to shatter this grand illusion. The physical token, it's basically powerless. The paper is just paper. Those glowing pixels on your smartphone, just light. They hold absolutely zero intrinsic use. Their power comes entirely from our shared hallucination. It's a collective agreement that magically gives them the power to command human labor and build empires.
Before we go any further down this rabbit hole, I need to drop a quick disclaimer. This video on the channel Blocks Bonds Funds is created for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial or investment advice.
All right, so if the physical token holds no real value, what exactly are we building this whole system on? Well, picture the ancient world for a minute. It's dark, it's disconnected. A farmer with a cart of grain desperately needs livestock, but the herdsman, he has zero use for grain, so the exchange just fails. Pure barter was incredibly inefficient. It was this massive friction holding back early civilizations. To coordinate value across growing villages, humanity needed something way deeper than just trading physical objects. Fast forward to today, think about a modern city. It's just pulsing with life, right? You've got farmers harvesting, engineers coding, doctors saving lives, entrepreneurs building businesses. It is this massive, flowing network of human energy. And here's the crazy part. Money is not wealth. It is actually a battery for that energy. When you earn a wage, you're essentially capturing the physical and mental sweat of your labor, bottling it up, and placing it into the flowing streams of society to be deployed later. So basically, money acts like this invisible bridge across time. It lets you take the energy you expend right now in the present moment, save it securely, and then consume someone else's time, energy, and resources far into the future. It's how years of intense study or building a sprawling business get transformed into these glowing, transferable particles of stored effort. There's this fantastic quote from the science fiction author Clifford D. Simak that hits the nail on the head. He wrote that if time is money, it follows that money is also time. It's a representation of the collective economic energy stored by humanity. Think about that. Every unit of currency in your pocket is literally a frozen slice of human time and effort, just waiting to be thought out and unleashed whenever you decide to spend it. Now, if we look back historically, civilizations went on this epic quest to find the perfect container for this stored time. They tried everything: grain, shells, salt, and eventually silver and gold. But as empires grew, the requirements changed. Over thousands of years, we've progressively reduced the physical weight of money, choosing instead to dramatically increase our reliance on something entirely weightless, and that's trust. This physical illusion really started to crack when the sheer weight of value became literally too much to carry. Metallic money was heavy, it was unsafe to transport, and super expensive to mint. So, merchants started storing their heavy gold in these secure vaults, and they trade the paper receipts issued by the goldsmiths instead. Over time, the heavy metal just stayed put in the vaults, and the receipts themselves became the money. The core of value shifted away from a physical object in your hand to a written promise. And the amazing thing is, even centuries ago, the architects of our financial systems completely understood this secret. Back in 1565, the Knights of Malta stamped this brilliant motto right on their coins.
non est sed fides, which means not the metal, but trust. Money isn't a shiny commodity. It's an institutional technology devised to manage trust. It's literally the operating system that runs our economies. Which brings us to the digital age, where currency dissolves almost entirely into light and code. Think about it. A physical token, like a gold coin, directly represents the state of things. You hand it over, and it's gone. But digital data, it can't literally move. It can only be copied and erased. Because of that intrinsic property of information, true digital money cannot be a physical token. It has to be a ledger, a shared, unshakable list tracking exactly who owes what to whom. So, I have to ask you, if money is really just numbers on screens, what are people actually trusting? Well, beneath every transaction lies this vast, invisible architecture. It's an interlocking web of centralized and decentralized ledgers, institutional records, and future obligations. When you swipe a card, you aren't moving physical value at all. You're relying on this immense, hidden nervous system of promises that spans the entire globe. And this perfectly introduces the concept of credit. Because if money stores past energy, credit is basically a time machine that pulls future energy right into the present. It allows an entrepreneur to borrow funds to build a factory today using the productivity of tomorrow. Families finance homes. Governments build infrastructure. Credit lets us trade tomorrow's effort today, acting as the ultimate accelerator for human growth and civilization. Actually, anthropologist David Graeber completely flips the standard textbook story on its head. It's called the credit theory of money. It suggests that we didn't start with barter, invent coins, and then discover credit. No, it happened the other way around. Credit and debt systems came first. They created this complex web of social relationships and obligations. Money emerged primarily as a unit of account just to measure those complex social debts. Before anyone ever minted a physical coin. We didn't invent money to trade things. We invented it to track our relationships.
Now zoom out with me for a second to the macro level. The sheer scale of this web is just staggering. The value of payments circulating through the system completely dwarfs actual GDP. This shared monetary language acts exactly like blood circulating through a global body. It's coordinating billions of people, massive supply chains, hospitals, and factories, all of them relying on this invisible infrastructure of trust.
From the smallest retail coffee purchase to these massive, large-value settlements between central banks, the entire global network is tied together. Every single layer of the system relies entirely on a seamless, unified ledger of human trust. It's a stunningly complex mechanism that allows a farmer in one hemisphere to effectively trade their effort with an engineer in another, almost instantly. But here's the catch. For all this magic to actually work, the system relies on something central bankers call the singleness of money. Basically, this means the price of money relative to the unit of account has to stay exactly at 1. $1 in a commercial bank must equal $1 in the central bank. Claims have to be universally redeemable at par. This is what allows you to accept money with no questions asked. It becomes what economists call an information-insensitive asset, meaning you don't need to go research its background to know it holds its value. But man, there is some incredible fragility here too. As the famous quote goes, there is no subtler, no surer means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. When trust gets fractured, whether that's through hyperinflation, bank defaults, or massive financial crises, the singleness of money breaks. People start asking questions. That invisible architecture crumbles, and a lot of times it takes the civilization down with it. Because we absolutely have to remember this. When the belief dies, the money dies. Full stop. Without the underlying faith in the institutional technology of central banks, governments, and the rule of law, those numbers on your screen, they're just pixels. They vanish into thin air. The power of money relies entirely on our collective confidence that the system will honor its promises tomorrow just exactly as it did today. So let's just completely reframe everything we thought we knew about this. Money isn't a piece of paper, and it definitely isn't a shiny metal. It's stored human effort. It's a battery for time. It's transferable interpersonal trust. When you get right down to it, money is the single most powerful coordination technology humanity has ever devised, moving value seamlessly through time and space.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought to chew on. As the Earth glows with these invisible monetary networks, remember what is actually flowing through them. Effort becomes money, money becomes credit, and credit becomes civilization. The next time you look at your bank balance, realize you aren't just looking at wealth. You're looking at a ledger of your past energy and a bridge to your future. If every dollar is stored effort, and every loan is a promise about tomorrow's money, how will you choose to spend your stored time?